The warning sirens broke 400 years of silence. Inside the massive colony ship Evergreen, frost melted from the glass of Pod 17A. The lid opened with a soft hiss. Commander Frank Miller gasped as his lungs filled with air for the first time in centuries. His eyes burned in the dim blue lights. His fingers trembled as feeling returned to them. "Status report," he croaked, his voice rough from centuries of disuse. No answer came. That was wrong. The ship's AI should have been there to greet him. Frank forced himself to move. Each muscle screamed in protest as he pulled himself from the pod. 2 other pods were open nearby. He recognized Lisa Walton, the ship's chief science officer, slumped against the wall. Alan Garcia, head of security, was checking the computer panel. "Eye is offline," Alan said. His voice was as rough as Frank's, or at least not responding to commands. "The others?" Frank asked, looking at the thousands of pods stretching into the distance. "Still frozen," Lisa said. She was using a handheld scanner on herself. "We shouldn't be awake. Something's wrong." A distant bang echoed through the ship. All 3 froze. "We're not alone," Alan whispered. He moved to a storage locker and pulled out 3 stun batons. He handed one to each of them. Frank's military training from Earth kicked in despite his foggy mind. He motioned for them to move forward in a standard search pattern. The ship was huge, 12 levels of sleeping humans, supplies, and machinery designed to start a colony on a new world. "What woke us?" Lisa asked as they moved carefully through the dim corridors. "Emergency protocol," Alan guessed. "But only 3 of us? Makes no sense." They reached the bridge. The doors were damaged, forced open from the outside. Inside, strange figures moved in the shadows. They weren't human. "First contact," Lisa whispered, her eyes wide. After all this time. The aliens were tall and thin with 4 arms. Their skin glowed faintly blue in the darkness. They were removing equipment from the control panels. "They're stealing our tech," Alan said. One of the aliens turned. It made a clicking sound that must have been speech. More aliens appeared, holding tools that looked like weapons. Frank held up empty hands. "We come in peace," he said, knowing they probably couldn't understand. The alien leader stepped forward. It wore some kind of translator device that buzzed and then spoke in broken English. "Primitive vessel. Technology simple. Taking what needed. No harm meant." "This is our ship," Frank said firmly. "Those are our people sleeping back there." The alien's eyes widened. "Humans?" Awake, it stepped back quickly. Archives warned of humans. Dangerous. Violent biology. Lisa moved forward slowly. "We don't want violence." "Who are you? Where are we?" The alien seemed confused by her calm approach. "Raxan scouts. Edge of Confederation space. Human ships not seen for many cycles. Fought empty. Dead." "Not dead," Alan said, stepping forward. "Just sleeping." The alien leader made rapid clicking sounds to the others. They seemed agitated. "Human bodies dangerous. Biohazard. Archives say humans survive wounds that kill civilized species, heal from injuries. Dangerous strength. Minds calculate violence." Frank was confused. These aliens were afraid of them, of normal human abilities. An alien moved suddenly, raising a tool toward Lisa. Frank reacted without thinking, swinging his stun baton. The alien collapsed, twitching. The others made high-pitched sounds of alarm. The leader backed away. "See, violence instant. No hesitation. Archives correct." Frank tried to explain. "You threatened us first." But the aliens were retreating, leaving their tools behind. The leader's translator crackled one last time. "Will report. Humans awake. Galaxy must know. Quarantine broken." Then they were gone, running down the corridor toward what must be their ship. "What just happened?" Lisa asked, looking stunned. "I think," Frank said slowly, "we just terrified our first aliens." Ellen checked the abandoned alien equipment. They didn't even take their stuff. They were that scared of us. But why? Lisa wondered, what do these archives say about humans that would make them so afraid? The ship's lights suddenly came back on. A familiar voice spoke from the overhead speakers. Emergency protocols engage. Area system rebooting. Warning. Unauthorized entities detected and expelled. 3 crew members successfully revived. Frank looked at his 2 companions. I think we have a lot to learn about what's been happening while we slept. Outside the ship, the small alien scout vessel accelerated away at full speed, broadcasting an urgent message to all who could hear. The humans were awake, and the galaxy would never be the same. 2 days passed since the aliens fled the Evergreen. Frank, Lisa, and Alan worked to understand their situation. Araya, the ship's AI, was fully online again, but had limited information about their location. We are approximately 30 light-years from our intended destination, Araya explained. Current star charts do not match my database. Lisa studied the alien equipment left behind. Their technology is different from ours, but I can understand some of it. They have faster-than-light communication. Amazing. Alan had been checking the other cryopods. Everyone else is still stable. We could wake more crew if needed. A flash of light outside the viewport caught Frank's attention. Araya, what was that? Detecting an energy burst consistent with weapons fire, the AI responded. A space station is under attack 17 million kilometers from our position. A space station. Out here. Lisa rushed to the viewport. Can you show us? Frank asked. The main screen displayed a distant structure. It was massive and wheel-shaped with ships moving around it. Some ships fired at others. We're receiving a distress signal, Araya announced. It's in multiple languages. One appears to be a simple form of English. Play it, Frank ordered. A desperate voice came through. This is Waypoint Station. We are under attack by Morgethi forces, requesting immediate assistance from any Confederation vessels in range. Frank looked at his 2 companions. We should help them. With what? Ellen asked. We don't know anything about these people or their war. We have the shuttle, Lisa suggested. It has basic weapons for clearing asteroids. Frank made his decision. We need allies and information. Araya, prepare the shuttle. We'll need a small team. Within an hour, they had awakened 3 more crew members. Engineer Patricia Daniels, Medical Officer Richard Scott, and Communications Specialist Olivia Wright. All were chosen for their specialized skills. I still think this is crazy, Alan said as they boarded the shuttle. We're going into an alien battle. Sometimes you need to be crazy to survive, Frank replied. Everyone ready. The shuttle launched from the Evergreen and headed toward the space station. As they approached, they could see the battle clearly. Small, fast ships attacked larger defensive vessels. The attackers are Morgethi, Olivia explained, studying the translation data from the alien equipment. They seem to be raiders of some kind. The station defenders are losing, Alan noted, watching the tactical display. Frank took manual control of the shuttle. Let's show them what humans can do. Patricia, charge the mining lasers. Their small shuttle dove into the battle. The Morgethi, not expecting a new enemy, were caught off guard. Frank's piloting skills from Earth's space forces hadn't diminished. He weaved through enemy fire with precision. Firing. Patricia called out. The mining laser wasn't designed for combat, but still cut through one Morgethi ship's engines. The alien vessel spun out of control. They're breaking off. Alan shouted as the remaining attackers turned away from the station. We're being hailed, Olivia said. The station wants us to dock. The shuttle entered a docking bay where strange aliens waited. They were tall with 4 arms like the Raxan scouts, but with greenish skin. These must be Confederation members, Lisa whispered as they prepared to exit. Frank led them out. The aliens stepped back when they emerged. You are humans, One asked through a translator device. Yes, Frank replied. We received your distress call. Murmurs spread through the alien crowd. One stepped forward cautiously. I am Director Valnar. We are grateful for your assistance, but confused. Human ships were thought lost to time. We were in cryo sleep, Lisa explained. Our ship, the Evergreen, was damaged and off course. Valnar's 4 eyes blinked rapidly. You fought with unusual ferocity. One small craft against Morgothi raiders. Most species would consider such actions suicidal. Richard noticed an injured alien nearby and moved to help. The aliens jumped back in alarm. I'm a doctor, he explained, showing his medical kit. I can help. The injured alien looked terrified but allowed Richard to approach. Valnar watched with interest. You wish to assist, not conquer. We're explorers, Frank said. We just want to understand this new galaxy we've awakened to. Awakened, Valnar repeated, the word seeming to carry special meaning. Yes, the sleeping species has indeed awakened. Messages spread quickly among the station aliens. Frank could see fear in their movements, but also curiosity. Come, Valnar finally said. The Confederation will want to know about your return. There are many questions about humans that our records cannot answer. As they followed Valnar deeper into the station, Olivia whispered to Frank, They're scared of us, but they need us too. Did you notice how they keep their distance? Frank nodded. Something strange was happening here. Why did the entire galaxy seem to fear humans they had never met? Director Valnar led the humans through the space station. The curved hallways were filled with different alien species. All stopped to stare at the humans as they passed. This station serves as a trading post and diplomatic outpost for the Galactic Confederation, Valnar explained. We have representatives from 12 major species here. Frank noticed how the crowds parted before them. Why is everyone so afraid of us? Valnar's 4 arms moved in what might have been discomfort. Your species has a special place in galactic records. They entered a large round room with a table in the center. Alien representatives sat around it, watching the humans with a mixture of fear and interest. The council will see you now, Valnar said, gesturing for them to sit. An elderly alien with purple skin and 6 eyes spoke first. I am Elder Zix. For thousands of years, we believe humans were confined to their solar system. How are you here? Lisa answered, We left Earth in colony ships hundreds of years ago, when our sun became unstable. We were in cryo sleep until recently. Earth. Elder Zix repeated the word with what sounded like dread. The quarantine was supposed to be permanent. Quarantine. Frank leaned forward. What do you mean? The aliens exchanged glances. Another council member, a short furry being, spoke up. Humans don't know, it said. They don't know their place in the galaxy. Elder Zix sighed. Your planet was designated Quarantine Zone Alpha over 10,000 years ago. No contact was permitted. Your species was considered too dangerous to join galactic society. A shocked silence fell over the human group. Dangerous how? Alan finally asked. We haven't done anything to you. It is not what you have done, Elder Zix explained. It is what you are. Humans are physically resilient in ways most species are not. You can survive injuries that would kill others. Your bodies can adapt to different environments. Your minds can create new ways to fight, to kill. We're not just killers, Patricia protested. We're builders, creators. Yes, agreed a thin, silver-skinned alien. That is what makes you most dangerous. You create to destroy. Your history is full of it. How do you know our history? Olivia asked. Elder Zix touched a control on the table. A hologram appeared showing ancient Earth. We have observed from a distance. Your wars. Your rapid technological growth. Your ability to survive despite disasters. Frank shook his head. So you just left us alone. Why not help us? The last species that tried to help humans was nearly destroyed, Elder Zix said quietly. That was when the quarantine was established. A hologram shifted to show a star map. Earth was inside a red circle labeled in alien script. For millennia, all ships were warned to avoid human space, Valnar explained. Then, 400 years ago, we detected launches from Earth. Colony ships, most were lost. We assumed all humans had perished. Well, we didn't, Richard said. And we mean no harm to your Confederation. Elder Zix studied them. Perhaps not intentionally, but now we face a problem. You are awake and cannot be simply sent back to Earth. The quarantine is broken. The council members began to argue among themselves. Some wanted to help the humans. Others wanted them contained or even eliminated. Lisa spoke up, her voice clear above the noise. We need supplies to repair our ship. We have thousands of people still in cryosleep. We didn't ask to be here, but we are. We can be allies if you let us. A tense silence followed. Finally, Elder Zix nodded. We will provide basic assistance. In return, you will share information about your current biology and technology. Why? Frank asked suspiciously. Because the galaxy has been at peace for 5,000 years, Elder Zix replied. The Morgothi Raiders are a new threat. Your actions today showed fighting skills our peaceful species have forgotten. Skills we may need. So you fear us, but you might need us, Frank said, understanding now. Elder Zix's 6 eyes blinked slowly. Yes, and that is the most dangerous position of all. As the meeting ended, Frank pulled his team aside. We need to be careful. We're being watched. And I don't think they're telling us everything about this quarantine or why humans were really feared. I agree, Olivia said quietly. I've been listening to their side conversations my translator is picking up. They keep mentioning something called the awakening when they talk about us. Frank looked out at the stars visible through a viewport. Somewhere out there, the evergreen drifted with thousands of sleeping humans. Whatever secrets this galaxy held about humanity's past, he needed to discover them quickly. For the first time, he wondered if waking up had been a mistake. A week passed on the space station. The humans worked with the aliens, sharing knowledge and gaining supplies for the Evergreen. Patricia learned about their advanced engines. Richard studied alien medicine. Olivia mastered 3 new languages. Frank sat with Lisa in a quiet corner of the station's observation deck. Beyond the window, stars shimmered against the blackness of space. Araya sent a new message, Frank said quietly. The ship's long-range scanners found something interesting. Lisa leaned closer. What is it? 2 metal objects, human-made, in nearby star systems. They matched the size and shape of our colony ships. Lisa's eyes widened. Others survived. Are there people awake on them? Unknown, Frank replied, but we need to find out. They gathered their team in their private quarters. Alan immediately shook his head when Frank explained. The Council will never let us leave to search for these ships, he said. They barely trust us now. Then we don't ask permission, Frank replied. Our shuttle can reach the nearest ship in 3 days. Patricia looked worried. Elder Zix specifically ordered us not to leave the station without an escort. Those could be our people out there, Richard argued. We can't just abandon them. They debated for hours before finally agreeing. That night, while most of the station slept, they slipped away to their shuttle. Frank had memorized the security patterns. They launched without incident. ARIA, we're heading to the coordinates, Frank said through the communication link. Keep the Evergreen ready in case we need extraction. The shuttle moved quickly through space. On the 3rd day, they reached the coordinates. A massive shape floated in the darkness. It's the horizon, Lisa whispered, recognizing the colony ship's design. One of our sister ships from Earth. They approached carefully. The ship appeared intact, but showed no signs of life or power. Scans show the cryopods are still active, Patricia reported. Everyone's still asleep. Let's dock and check it out, Frank ordered. They connected to the Horizon's emergency airlock. Inside, the ship was dark and cold. Their flashlights cut through the gloom as they made their way to the bridge. "The main systems are offline," Patricia said as she examined the controls. "But the backup power kept the cryopods functioning. These people have been asleep this whole time." "Can we wake them?" Frank asked. Patricia nodded. "I can restart the main systems, but—" A sudden noise from behind made them turn. Alan raised his weapon. "Someone's here," he whispered. A figure stepped from the shadows. Not human. A tall, thin alien with green skin. "Confederation spies," Richard said with surprise. The alien raised its hands. "Not Confederation. I am Nex, independent researcher. I found this vessel 3 cycles ago. Studying. Learning. Studying our people." Frank stepped forward angrily. "Not harming," Nex insisted. "Protecting. Others would destroy this ship if found. Morgothi would use humans as weapons." "Why would you protect us?" Lissa asked. Nex hesitated. "Because old stories might be true. About humans. About why they were feared." Before Nex could explain, their communication device activated. Olivia answered it. "It's ARIA," she said with alarm. "The Evergreen is picking up multiple ships approaching both our positions. They're not Confederation. They're Morgothi." Frank made a quick decision. "Patricia, can you get this ship moving?" "Maybe, but it would take time." "We don't have time," Frank said. "We need to get back to the Evergreen. We can't let the Morgothi get either ship." "Wait," Lisa said. She turned to Nex. "You said there were stories about humans. What stories?" Nex's large eyes blinked slowly. "That humans were not quarantined to protect the galaxy from them. Humans were hidden to protect them until they were needed again." "Needed for what?" Ellen asked. "War," Nex said simply. "The worst war the galaxy has ever known is coming, and humans were engineered to fight it." Frank stared at the alien. "Engineered? By whom?" "The ones who came before all of us," Nex replied. "Now the Morgothi have learned this truth too. That is why they hunt you." The shuttle's proximity alarms began to sound. Enemy ships were closing in. "We need to go now," Frank ordered. "And we need to find the 3rd colony ship. If what Nex says is true, we need to wake our people before the Morgothi find them." As they rushed back to the shuttle, Frank wondered what other secrets lay hidden in humanity's past, and why the entire galaxy had conspired to keep humans asleep for so long. The Evergreen moved through space toward the KX-738 system. Frank had awakened 100 more crew members to help repair the ship and prepare for whatever lay ahead. Lissa spent most of her time with Nex, learning about galactic history. "The records don't make sense," she told Frank as they sat in the small command center. "According to the data Nex shared, humans didn't evolve naturally on Earth." "What do you mean?" Frank asked. "DNA patterns. Evolutionary jumps. They don't follow normal development," Lisa explained. "Richard confirmed it with tests on our crew. Humans were engineered." Frank struggled to accept this. By whom? And why? Nex, who had been quietly listening, spoke up. "The Ancients, a species that ruled the galaxy before any current civilization. They created humans as warriors for a great war." "Against what?" Frank asked. "That information was lost," Nex said. "But when the war ended, the Ancients placed humans on Earth with genetic limits to their abilities. They wanted you to develop naturally, perhaps to see what you would become without their influence. And the Confederation has known this all along." Alan asked from his station. "Only the highest council members," Nex replied. "Most believe humans were quarantined because they were dangerous. Only a few know the truth, that humans were preserved for a future need." Patricia entered the room, carrying the small device. "I found something interesting in the alien tech we salvaged. It contains star maps dating back thousands of years." She activated the device. A hologram appeared showing ancient Earth surrounded by strange structures. "These look like monitoring stations," Frank said, studying the image. They were, Nex confirmed. The Watchers observed Earth for millennia, until your colony ships left. Richard, who had been analyzing crew medical data, joined them. The cryosleep did something unexpected to us. The genetic blocks Nex mentioned. They're breaking down. We're changing. How? Lisa asked. Increased healing rate, improved strength, enhanced brain activity, Richard listed. Nothing dramatic, but significant compared to our baseline. The deep sleep removed the limitations, Nex said. You are becoming what you were designed to be. A communication alert sounded. Olivia, who had been monitoring transmissions, looked up with concern. Multiple signals from ahead. We're approaching KX 738, and there's a battle in progress. The main screen showed flashes of light around a distant planet. Ships fired at each other, while a larger vessel, clearly a human colony ship, orbited nearby. That's the Pioneer, Frank said, recognizing its design. Our sister ship. It's under attack by Confederation forces, Olivia reported, surprised. And they're winning. The Pioneer's defensive systems were unlike anything on the Evergreen. Energy weapons fired from multiple points, destroying or disabling the attacking ships. They've adapted, Nex said with awe. Those humans have integrated alien technology with their own. Frank opened a communication channel. Pioneer, this is Commander Frank Miller of the Earth colony ship Evergreen. We are human. Repeat, we are human. Static filled the channel before a woman's voice responded. Evergreen. Another colony ship. Stand by for verification. Minutes passed as the Pioneer continued to defend itself. Finally, the voice returned. Evergreen, this is Captain Maria Russell of the Pioneer. Your arrival is unexpected but welcome. We have a safe approach vector for you. As they followed the coordinates, Frank studied the Pioneer's battle tactics. They were unlike anything he had seen before. Creative, adaptable, and highly effective. The Pioneer crew has been awake for 60 years, Nex explained, reading data from their transmission. They aligned with outcasts from several worlds and formed the Frontier Coalition. They've been fighting both the Confederation and the Morgothi. Fighting. Why? Lisa asked. The Confederation tried to put them back into stasis when they first awakened, Nex said. They believed active humans would destabilize the galaxy. The Pioneer crew refused. As they approached the Pioneer, Frank could see it had been heavily modified. Once similar to the Evergreen, it now bristled with weapons and new technology. I wonder if they know, Richard said quietly, about what we really are. We'll find out soon, Frank replied as they prepared to dock. Olivia suddenly looked up from her station. New transmission. Confederation-wide alert. They're calling for a full military response to the human threat. They're declaring us all enemies of galactic peace. Frank watched as more Confederation ships appeared at the edge of the system. The Morgothi fleet wasn't far behind. The galaxy fears what it doesn't understand, Nex said. And what it fears most is what humans might become now that you're truly awake. The Evergreen docked with the Pioneer. Frank led a small team across the connection tunnel. On the other side, they met Captain Maria Russell and her second-in-command, Doug Flores. Both wore uniforms unlike anything from Earth, with symbols representing their coalition. Welcome aboard, Maria said, her face stern but her eyes curious. We never expected to see another colony ship with living crew. We only woke up recently, Frank explained. The Morgothi attacked us, and now the Confederation has labeled all humans as threats. Maria nodded. That's been our reality for decades. Follow me. We have much to discuss. She led them to a command center far more advanced than the Evergreens. Maps showed Confederation and Morgothi territory, with a small cluster of systems marked as Frontier Coalition. 60 years ago, our ship's AI detected a threat and woke us early, Doug explained. We found ourselves in a galaxy that feared us simply for existing. The Confederation tried to put us back to sleep, Maria continued. When we refused, they attempted to destroy our ship. We escaped and found allies among other species who had been pushed aside by the Confederation. Species who don't fear humans. Lisa asked. Species who see our potential, Maria corrected. The Novelli believe diversity makes the galaxy stronger. The Trell value adaptability above all else. Together, we carved out a small territory. But the Confederation still wants us gone, Doug added. And the Morgothi want to use us as weapons. We know about humanity's origins, Frank said. That we were engineered as warriors by an ancient species. Maria exchanged a look with Doug. We discovered the truth 50 years ago. It changed everything. She activated a hologram showing an ancient ruin on a distant planet. This temple contained records from the ancients, Maria explained. Humans weren't just soldiers. We were protectors, created to defend all life in the galaxy from something the records only call the coming darkness. What darkness? Aelin asked. Unknown, Doug replied. But whatever it was, it terrified a species powerful enough to engineer new life forms and build structures that have lasted millions of years. The ship's alarms suddenly blared. A young officer rushed in. Captain, the Confederation fleet is moving in. The Morgothi are approaching from the other side. They've surrounded both our ships. On the main screen, dozens of ships from both forces closed in. The humans were trapped between them. They're working together, Frank asked with surprise. Temporarily, Maria said grimly. They both want humans contained or controlled. We're too unpredictable for the Confederation and too valuable to the Morgothi. Can we fight our way out? Aelin asked, looking at the overwhelming forces. Not this time, Maria admitted. But we have other options. She activated a communication channel. A familiar face appeared on the screen. Elder Zix from the Confederation Council. Humans, the Elder said with obvious distaste. You have violated our agreements and allied with rogue elements. Surrender now and return to quarantine. Before Maria could answer, another channel opened. A Morgothi commander, reptilian and scarred, spoke through a translator. Ignore Confederation lies. Join Morgothi Empire. Your skills valued. Your biology studied. Better than destruction. Frank looked at Maria. She nodded, allowing him to speak. We reject both offers, Frank said clearly. Humans are not meant to be quarantined or used as weapons. We're seeking our own path. Then you leave us no choice, Elder Zix replied. For the safety of all galactic species, both human vessels must be neutralized. The transmission ended. The attack began immediately. Ships from both fleets fired on the Pioneer and Evergreen. The shields held, but wouldn't last long. We need a miracle, Doug muttered. A new alarm sounded. The sensor officer looked up in shock. Multiple ships dropping out of faster-than-light travel. Hundreds of them. The main screen showed a vast fleet appearing around them. The ships were unlike any they'd seen before. Sleek, powerful, and clearly advanced. They positioned themselves between the human ships and the attacking fleets. They're hailing us, Olivia reported. The screen changed to show a human face, a woman with dark hair and determined eyes. This is Admiral Karen Hayes of the Human Defense Fleet. Pioneer and Evergreen, stand by for protection and extraction. The horizon is awake, and we're not alone anymore. Frank and Maria stared at the screen in shock. More human ships. From where? Maria recovered first. Admiral Hayes, we're grateful for the assistance, but how? The explanation will have to wait, Hayes replied as her ships engaged the enemy fleets. But know this, humanity has more friends in this galaxy than enemies, and we finally found our purpose. The battle around the Pioneer and Evergreen was brief but intense. Admiral Hayes' fleet moved with precision that stunned both the Confederation and Morgothi forces. Within an hour, the enemy ships had retreated, leaving the humans in control of the system. Frank, Lisa, and the others joined Maria and Doug on the